Dread it, run from it, destiny arrives, all the mother humping same. Dallas still stinks. You like the way I kick Dingbat here, and you gotta love watching Saquon Barkley defect from the New York Giants and go from the evil empire to the Republic. It is a beautiful thing. And Hard Knocks had episode 2, and we got to watch Saquon Barkley and the Giants get ready to part ways. It was fascinating. Joe Schoen actually thought that by saying, hey, Saquon, you play a few more years, you'll be in the Giants Ring of Honor. He said, I don't want that Ring of Honor because this team stinks. I'd rather go to a real team. And now, Saquon Barkley is an Eagle. And I'm going to tell you somebody else who is an Eagle. One, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Do not sleep on my man. The most overlooked Eagle rookie so far and in a long time. And he's going to prove a lot of people wrong. But before we get into all that, I want to talk about this Saquon Barkley situation. Because to me, it's absolutely fascinating watching what's going on with him in Hard Knocks. To me, it's the best Hard Knocks I've ever seen. Watching him go from the Giants, and you know he's going to end up in Philly, is absolutely hilarious. Now, we talked about what happened last week. This week, it kind of continued. The Giants made the the decision, basically, we're going to let Barkley test free agency. If you really wanted Saquon Barkley back, you should never have let him test free agency. I guess they didn't think he was going to get that much. Here's the phone call between Pound Giants GM Joe Schoen and Saquon Barkley when he was told he would be allowed to become a free agent. Schoen asked Barkley if he could get his word on circling back to them during the process. This was tremendous access. It really was tremendous access. And Schoen did. I will say this about Schoen, right? I'm going to bust the Giants' balls, but I will say this. At least they tried to do the right thing by Barkley. I really think they tried to do the right thing. I just don't think they thought he was going to get the money that he got. And of course, a team that is on the verge, that's a contender, would take a Saquon Barkley. I also think they really play too much into, Barkley's 27 years old. Big mistake, okay? But it was pretty interesting hearing Schoen tell Barkley, we're going to let you test the market. But listen, whatever offer you get, come back to us and let us know. Well, we'll see if Barkley actually does that. Next week is the actual episode where it looks like Barkley is going to defect to the Eagles. So we'll see. It's like going from East Germany to West Germany back in the day. You remember the old, there's an old Disney movie about this family that wanted to get out of East Germany when the Soviet Union was controlling it, and they built a giant balloon that went up and then came down, and they're like, where are we? And they found out they were in West Germany, and they were all happy, trying to get out of there to go over the wall. I feel like that's what's happening. Barkley's building a balloon, and he's just trying to get to South Jersey. Get into South Jersey, get in the Philly area, and you'll be good. But no, it's pretty interesting. And Schoen was trying to say, well, Barkley plays a few more years, you'll be in that Ring of Honor. Barkley don't care about that. Come on. But it was really, really interesting. I think the Giants made a huge mistake. And really, the most fascinating part of the whole episode was the preview for next week, where you have John Mara talking about, I don't like this, getting rid of Barkley. I'm not going to be able to sleep good if he goes. I think what we're going to see here, and I honestly don't know how it played out for the Giants, so it's new for me. I really only know from the Eagles' perspective. But it looks like the Giants are going to try to make him some sort of offer right before he goes somewhere, hoping he'll come there, and he's like, no. I think that whatever happened, Schoen keeps talking about, it was such a nightmare, the franchise tag last year. I don't want to go through that again. You can't keep saying that to a guy, because it just makes it seem like he's not that valuable. Oh man, that was a pain in the ass. You're a pain in the ass. We don't want to go through that again. And I think if he said that to me too, I'd been gone too. So I don't blame Barkley. But I can't wait to see Barkley as an Eagle. I cannot wait. And here's the thing. Everybody, a lot of experts are now starting to say what I've been saying for the whole offseason. Saquon Barkley on the Philadelphia Eagles will make as much of an impact as Christian McCaffrey made to the 49ers. People want to say Barkley is injury prone. Well, Christian McCaffrey had missed like 16, 17 games in 3 years before he went to the 49ers, and look what he's been able to do. The narrative with the Eagles and the running back, and I don't understand people, they don't believe what Howie Roseman says. The Eagles would never get a running back. Eagles never get a running back. It's just not true. That just never has been true. It's just that the Eagles want a specific type of running back. The Eagles tried to trade for Christian McCaffrey. They also tried to draft Christian McCaffrey. They also were planning on taking Bijan Robinson if Jalen Carter was off the board when they picked, and they went and got Saquon Barkley. They look at those kind of running backs they look at them as weapons, not just running back, weapons. And that's why Barkley is going to be used differently than you saw Swift and even Miles Sanders. And that's why now the league, he's really ranked going into the season as the fourth best running back. And I think that's about right. I think Barkley's going to have a huge, huge year, but I'm enjoying everything about this Hard Knocks. I'm not covering the Giants. I could care less about the Giants. Once the Barkley stuff is done, I won't even talk about it anymore. But the Barkley stuff is fascinating, no doubt about it. So let's go from one great topic to another. And I want to talk about this draft class, and specifically the forgotten man of this draft class. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about the Axeman. I'm talking about Jeremiah Trotter Jr., the forgotten player of this draft. And, I got to say, out of all of Howie Roseman's drafts that he has had and that he has controlled, I believe that this is going to go down as his deepest draft ever to date. I believe this draft will produce the most amount of starters out of any of the drafts he had. Now, he may have top-end players that were in other drafts that, panned out like a Jalen Carter or Devontae Smith, but I think this draft produces the most starters. Let me quickly explain what I mean. Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, they both will be starters in this league. Then you look at Jalen Hunt. I believe there's something special about that kid. I believe he's eventually going to be starting. I believe Anaya Smith is going to be a starting slot wide receiver in this league. Matter of fact, out of all the picks that the Eagles have made, and out of all the players that they drafted this year, he has the easiest path, in my opinion, to start right away. He does. He really does. And when I talk about these guys all becoming starters, I'm not saying in their rookie year. I'm saying 3-4 years down the road, I think this draft has produced a ton of starters. Then you look at a lineman like Keegan at guard. I think eventually he starts. And then you have Jeremiah Trotter Jr., the forgotten man. Now, the Eagles drafted Jeremiah Trotter Jr., part of it because his father is Jeremiah Trotter. Yes, I think that's a part. But it's not just because of the name. They also know the family. They know him well. They know that Jeremiah Trotter Jr. from a young age has been basically taught by his dad what to expect when he got to the NFL. This kid is wise beyond years. That's just the truth. And when you take what his linebacker coach said about him so far this year, I think it's obvious what is going to happen. Jeremiah Trotter is going to rise the depth charts quick and is going to start very quickly. Listen to what was said about Trotter Jr.
He's a smart guy. He's one of those type of players that doesn't make the same mistake twice. He's fun to coach. I'm excited for him to get the pads on.
So if you're getting a player that doesn't make a mistake twice, that is learning, let me tell you something. He is only going to get better and better. And Jeremiah Trotter Jr., he has been preparing for this. He has been groomed by his dad to be an NFL linebacker from an early age. He is ready to go. And one of the big complaints about Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is that, oh, he's too small. He's too small. I don't think he's too small, because you got to remember what you are at your draft at the combine and what you weigh in and what your height and weight is doesn't mean that's what you're going to be during your career. A guy like Ray Lewis was able to pack on a muscle and pounds. A lot of guys are. Here's what Trotter was, right? So Trotter at his combine measured in at 6 foot, 228 pounds, okay? Now you say, oh, that's too small, and it does seem small. But I want you to look at this. That's what he is, right? Now, if I told you that the Eagles could get Patrick Queen, 90% of you guys out there would say, yeah, you would have took Patrick Queen in a second. He would have been an upgrade, right? Well, here's Patrick Queen at the combine, right? The same thing Jeremiah Trotter had to do before the draft. Here's what he measured in at. 6 foot, 229 pounds. So you mean to tell me that he's 1 pound heavier? 1 pound. 1 pound. That's like if you have pasta vazul. You get like two pieces of pasta, a couple beans. That's a pound. All right. The guy's only a pound heavier coming out of the draft and the combine. So Patrick Queen has been successful. The size hasn't hindered him, and I don't think it's going to hinder Jeremiah Trotter Jr. at all. Matter of fact, I believe what you're going to see this year, I said Aniyah Smith had the easiest route to start right away. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. may have the second easiest. He is going to start in his depth chart. We're going to watch him in preseason. I'm going to tell you how it's going to happen. I'm going to tell you right now. You're going to watch, because this is what's going to happen. He's going to start up. He's going to be playing with like third team, maybe 14, third team. He's going to be playing late in that preseason games. And then slowly he's going to rise up the depth charts. Slowly he's going to rise up there. And you're going to get to about week 10, week 11. All of a sudden, one day, one game, they're going to need Trotter to start. He's going to go in and he's going to start. And when he starts, let me tell you, when Jeremiah Trotter starts his first game, that's it. He ain't giving up the reins. It's going to happen. I love this pick with Jeremiah Trotter Jr. He was destined to be an Eagle. And not only that, he's a lot better than people think. And people are forgetting about him. They look and we're hearing all stuff about Bond, okay? And we hear about Nakobe Dean. Well, Nakobe Dean better stay healthy. Because if Nakobe Dean doesn't stay healthy and for some reason Trotter Jr. comes in there, Trotter Jr.'s keeping it. I think there's a very good chance by the end of the year, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is starting. I believe that truly with all my heart. And I'm rooting for the kid. How can I not? But the Axeman is back. And I think he's going to be a big impact. And when he comes in and he starts playing, he's starting, and you have him and Devin White, we're going to be talking about locking up Devin White, and you got your two off-the-ball linebackers for a long time. That's just the truth of the matter. Nakobe Dean, and listen, I'm not trying to say I'm giving up on Nakobe Dean. I'm not. But what I'm saying is he's got to show me something. He's got to go out there and show me something. And if he doesn't, well, then guess what? Jeremiah Trotter Jr., it's your turn. Your time to go. And that's how I see it. So I expect big, big things from Jeremiah Trotter Jr. We're like less than 2 weeks from camp. Cannot wait. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision, baby. We're all just living in it. You know, a question I keep getting is, how many games, or what would the record have to be for Nick Sirianni to get fired during the year? I'll say this. I think that if he starts, let's say, 2-4, 2-5, I think he's gone. I think he's gone. He can't start 2-4, 2-5. I think he's going to go. The bigger question with Nick Sirianni is this. What if he has a great year? Let's say the Eagles go to the NFC Championship game and they lose, but Kellen Moore made such a big impact. How do you keep Kellen Moore on that team without him taking a head coaching job somewhere else and not fire Nick Sirianni, because they can't fire him at that point. So what do? Promote him to the front office? That's what's going to be more interesting to me. But a lot of people have been asking me, what record do I think would get Nick Sirianni fired? I think if he starts 2-4, 2-5, I think that would be it for him. He would be done. Denzel Washington out.
Hi, Michael Anthony Fitness here, MCCAFFREY.
That's all, folks.